Hi.
Everyone's just jumping on now. Welcome. Just wait a few more seconds to get everybody on. If you can leave your cameras on, that would be wonderful. So we can see all your smiling faces. Excellent. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone to our Lunch and Learn. So today we have OneMusic Australia hosting our Lunch and Learn, and we will be listening to Catherine Giuliano. She's the director of OneMusic Australia, and a very articulate lady, just been chatting beforehand. And she's going to talk about basically licensing music 101. So everything you need to know about music licensing in your businesses. So with Q&A today, if you can leave all that till the end, that would be great. We'll get to all of it. But if you think you're going to forget your question, then please type it in the chat. And that way we've got a record of it and we'll go back to it at the end of that. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Catherine Giuliano.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation, and there's going to meet someone there, and I hope it can be seen. So I'll just check with my trusty assistant. Thumbs up. Great. Firstly, I would just like to acknowledge the lands that I'm on today. I'm on Gadigal land of the Eora Nation, so based in Ultimo, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and I pay my respects to all the elders of the lands that you are on today joining this session. So thank you again for having me. I'm going to run through a little PowerPoint presentation with you that goes for about half an hour, maybe less, and hopefully answer some questions at the end, and hopefully make things a little clearer in terms of copyright and music licensing in Australia and essentially the world, because it's similar, in fact, the same everywhere globally. I'm just going to, oops, sorry, I'm just going back to where I am. Okay, so start there, here. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you about today is a couple of things, and the agenda's here. So what OneMusic is and why we exist. I'm going to discuss with you the benefits and the power of using music in your business, because there's a lot of information out there, and music can influence customer behaviour. So I want to touch on that with you today. I'll talk to you about how to get a license. That is what OneMusic does, provides license agreements. And then I'll talk to you briefly at the end about royalty payments, because license fees are paid out as royalty payments to music creators. So that's what I'm going to go through today with you. To start, I'm going to play a little music. So it's not a music video, it's a video. It explains OneMusic and what we do. So it kind of sets the scene for you. It goes for 2 minutes, 57 seconds. So hopefully it holds your attention for that time. It's an animation. It's voiced over by Justine Clark. You may know Justine Clark was in did children's shows and has she's a music ambassador and a member of APRA, AMCOS and PPCA, which OneMusic represents. That will be explained in this video. It's animated, so it's a bit childlike. So I'm sorry if it's maybe a bit too childlike, but it really does kind of explain what we do as a starting point, and then I'll go from there. So I'm going to play that to you now, and hopefully it works.
So we struggled to find a floor plan online. What we have been able to do
And there we have it. So thank you for listening to that. So basically, OneMusic represents in the Copyright Act the public performance of music. In the Copyright Act, there are 4 rights for music creators. One is the right to broadcast, and that's radio and TV, and that's AM, FM radio, terrestrial radio, AM and free-to-air TV. One is the communication right, and that is streaming. So that's when music became digitised. And all this is in the home, by the way. So it's the right to and licenses with the organisations that were talked about there. APRA and PPCA provide licenses to all radio and TV stations to do that for broadcast communication, for streaming. Netflix, they all have a licence to stream in Australia, but that's for domestic use only. Public performance, which is OneMusic, that's what we look after. So it's the public performance of music, which is music played in public, not in the home or the car. So music played in a business where it's heard, it's audible. That's where permission needs to be granted to do that. And then the last one is reproduction. So whenever music is copied for the purpose of commercial purpose, permission needs to be obtained from the copyright owner to do that. So there's 4 copyright acts in rights in the Copyright Act, and one of those is public performance, which sits with you guys being business owners, playing music in public. So it is actually a legal requirement. It's in the Copyright Act. It's a legal requirement all over the world too, and that permission is when you acquire a license with OneMusic, it is the rights are given for the worldwide repertoire of music. So you can play anything from all over the world. That permission is granted with a OneMusic license because OneMusic through APRA and PPCA are affiliated with all other copyright owners across the world. So there are equivalent societies, they're known as societies, APRA and PPCA. In the world, there are equivalent societies, and there's affiliate agreements between each all over the world in every country doing this. So we're collecting on each other's behalves. So when an Australian songwriter and recording artists, music is played, for instance, on the radio or in a shop, say in a newsagent in Amsterdam, the money will come back to us here in Australia via APRA and PPCA, and then paid to the copyright owners here in Australia. So it's a whole network, music network that happens that you're a part of. You're part of story. We call it the story of a song. A song is created by a composer, then it's recorded by recording artists. Those two people have copyrights. Once it's used by a commercial entity, copied, broadcast, or publicly performed, then permission is granted, license fees turn into royalties, and then those creators can keep doing what they're doing. So music is a product. It's their product, and you're part of that story of a song. So OneMusic essentially gives you that permission to be able to play music in your business without you having to go to every single copyright owner to obtain the permission individually. So hopefully that makes sense. So this slide touches on, people sometimes think we're a background music supplier, that we actually supply the music. We're not a background music supplier. We provide the permission on behalf of copyright owners to actually play music. Now, the hearing of the music, and it's only in the areas of your business where music is audible and can be heard. So obviously, if you've got toilets that music's not being played, you don't include that in a OneMusic agreement, because some of the agreements are based on metrics such as meters squared, so the size of the business. Or if you are a restaurant or cafe, it's based on seats. So it's only where music is heard in your business. So it's audible, and it's by any device. It doesn't matter whether it's radio, TV, it doesn't matter if you're using Spotify, iTunes, Apple, if it's YouTube, it doesn't matter at all what the device or the equipment is that is playing that music. It's the hearing of that music, the public performance by the customers and the public in your business. So yes, so having a OneMusic license is a legal requirement, and it gives you that permission to play music. So that's the legalities. The next question, the next part of the agenda or the slideshow that I'm showing you is about I guess, the power of music and why you actually play music, and why it's actually can be integral. It can be more integral for, say, a fitness centre who needs music to have classes, or a dance school that needs music, or a nightclub, for instance. But then it can be used as background music, say, in a restaurant. So it has different appeal and different uses for each business owner. But each of those uses has a purpose, and you have the power as a business owner to use it wisely and correctly. And this is why such businesses as background music suppliers exist. They are businesses that curate music for you and actually physically supply the music. So they're not us. I'm just letting you know what's out there if you haven't heard of them before, but they exist to assist you in using music wisely and correctly so that you can influence customer behaviour. Music has the power to influence customer behaviour. I think probably, I know for myself that music influences my behaviour sometimes. We all have a song, or we have pieces of music that we turn to for nostalgic reasons. I've got a breakup song that I go to. Used to be Tracy Chapman. Now it's the national. So, you know, you've got pieces of music that you know can move you, right? So it makes you happy, makes you want to dance and go crazy. You have music that makes you somber and more nostalgic. So you know yourself that music has a power in your own lives, but music has the power to influence customer behaviour. I'm going to run through a few things with you where it has impacted. So at OneMusic, we're really interested in the psychology of music, and we actually have sourced the research that has occurred all over the world. So there's been a lot of research done in the power of music in specific businesses. A lot of it's in restaurants, but it's in all retail, fitness, it's everywhere. And we've pulled all that and we freely offer it if businesses want to sort of tap into it, because it actually affects it actually influences the brand of your business. Often you'll think about your brand in terms of your interior design, you know, your fittings, your signage, your advertising, but you really have to think about the music you're using as well, because it is all part of the brand. So here I've just pulled some little stats for you. 97% of venues recognise that customers, I can't even read it because it's so small, but if you have a look through, and we can share this presentation with you afterwards, but you can see that it influences shoppers' behaviour when they're in the shop, and it also depends whether they stay in your shop for a period of time or they leave. If you're a restaurant, the beats per minute, the genre you use, and the volume all influences what they select off a menu, and also how long they spend in your restaurant. So if you do faster beats per minute, McDonald's have got it down pat. So because they want high churn, right? So if you think about beats per minute, it influences everything, and even to like wine off a menu, picking wine. Here's some more stats for you about different types of music being used and how it affects customer behaviour, and some quotes from some licensees there. So it hits the right notes in your business. And yeah, so please, I encourage people, if you haven't thought about how you use music in your business, to really just do your own research if you don't want to come to us, and you'll be able to see exactly, you know, what might work for you. The next agenda point I want to go to is just how to get a license at OneMusic. This is actually a screenshot of our e-commerce facility. It's really easy. You just go in. There's two little orange bits there that say get a license. So up in the top right hand side and in the middle of the page, and you just go get a license. Once you're in, you select your industry type. So we've got hospitality there, and then the sub-industry is restaurant cafe, but there's retail, fitness. We have different license schemes because some of them have different metrics. So for instance, a restaurant, as I was saying before, is based on seating capacity, whereas background music in a retail business is based on meters squared. In fitness, it's based on the number of classes. So there's different metrics for each industry, and the reason why there is because we worked with industry bodies and individual industries back when these were created through consultations with the individual industries and industry representatives. For instance, say hotels, it was the Australian Hotels Association and all hoteliers in Australia, and we consulted with them, and they advised us this was the best way to do it. So we worked with each industry, and the decision was made that these metrics were the best for that specific industry. So that's why they're different. So it's easy. It's a number of clicks. We have packages on there, so packages might be more appropriate, or if you don't want to go with packages, you can customize and you can select individually just to get a license. Then you go through, you tick terms and conditions because it is an agreement, because it's a legal requirement. So you tick the terms and conditions, and then it sends you to the payment, and it literally takes 10 minutes to go through, in and out, done. And you can pay annually, or we have monthly payments, which might help with cash flow, and that's new for us, and we're very pleased to offer monthly payments now on this e-commerce facility. Big question is, where does the money go? So once a license fee is paid, it's paid out as a royalty to the music creators. And the way that we do that is in a number of ways. So firstly, we don't ask you, the music user, to provide us with what is known as set lists, which are lists of works that you've played. That would be, I would say, probably impossible, particularly if you're playing a radio. You would know what's on there. And we also pay out to the music in the ads and the stings and the jingles that are on that, because from radio stations we get every single song played on a radio. For every commercial radio station sends us to the second, so the length of time that a song is, and every single song they send us. Also, all the streaming services send us every single stream. That is every single piece of music that's streamed in Australia. We get all that. So instead of us asking you to give us your set lists, we have a number of ways. But if you wanted us to pay royalties out to the songs that you're playing exactly, we can do that too. So I'll go through it. So the first thing is that it's an or-do meter. So this is something we provide free. So it's a little device, and it's like a Shazam-like device, and it fingerprints the first 10 seconds of every song. So it's not a recording device. It just matches. It's an algorithm. So it just matches it fingerprints that 10-second piece of music. It matches it to our system, to the song in our system, and so we know exactly so we can pay out exactly what you've played if you want to use that device. If you don't want to use that device, we have other ways of doing it. So we pay it out based on the streaming lists that we get from Spotify and other, not just Spotify, it is other digital music services. We get all those, so we pay it out based on that. We pay it out based on what I was saying is the radio performances we get, and we also get cue sheets from TV stations. So we get all of it. We get all the logs from all the TV stations, so they tell us what music is in every program. We know the music played in each program, as I was saying, ads and jingles. So we pay out based on radio and TV, and also background music suppliers, which are those businesses I was talking to you about. They send us all their data also of all the music that they're providing to businesses like yours. And just an example of a background music supply, I mean, you'll probably have been to Coles and Woolies. Coles Radio, that's a background music supplier. So that's just to give you an example of a background music supplier who curates music. A lot of the large chains have them also, but small businesses too engage background music suppliers, which is great. And I've got on there reporting from our members. So that's live music. So we have live licenses in place wherever live music is being performed. It's called featured on our agreement. So if you have live music, you would add it's an add-on on the agreement if it's not just background but live happens. So if our member, and I say our member, it's APRA. APRA actually administers OneMusic. So if an APRA member, so a songwriter member, plays their music, say in a pub live, they put in a live performance report. So they're reporting to us directly where they're playing so that we can pay out that live performance fee directly to them. So we know in terms of live where our members are playing. So we pay that out. So that's where the money goes. We act as a not-for-profit. We can't be termed as a not-for-profit because we're not a charity. We're a member-based organisation. We're made up of songwriter members for APRA and recording artists and labels for PPCA. So that's OneMusic represents those copyright owners. So we pay out royalties to members in Australia and obviously worldwide, because if you're playing music from overseas, we pay those copyright owners overseas as well. And we keep an admin fee to run the business, and it operates at around 12%. So 12% of licence fees are kept to run the business, and the rest is paid out. So that's how we work. And that's my presentation. So that's where I say thank you. That hello@onemusic.com.au is our query. That's where all queries come into via email into us. We also have live chat, we have a 1300, which is not on there though, but we have a 1300 telephone number, and we've got a customer support team that answer queries. We work 9 to 5 essentially, but we can be contacted at any time at those times. So there's a team of people who can answer queries. So that's that. So I might I think we're up to the Q&A.
Yes. That was great, Catherine. Thank you so much. I did love that Ordo meter. That's new. Something that I haven't seen before, that's for sure. So that's great. If you want to take that off share, we do have a question from Chris Caldwell. Thanks, Chris. Do music providers, for example, nightlife, so this is from fitness industry, provide a OneMusic license with their product, or does the nightlife customer also need to source a OneMusic license?
Yeah, no. So nightlife in the fitness industry, no, they do not. They don't provide a OneMusic license for the public performance of music. No. Yeah, so there are some background music suppliers that do look after the OneMusic, can look after, it's an opt-in, can look after the OneMusic license as a package of their supply, but that's only for restaurants and retail. So not for the fitness industry, unfortunately. And the reason being is because it's they supply only background music, and background music is essentially only ever just solely background music in restaurant and retail. Other industries are using music in different ways. So music in classes is not classified as background music. It's classified because it's a different metric. So a background music supply cannot cover the public performance of music in the fitness industry, only retail and restaurant.
Great. Yep. Thanks, Chris. I won't tell her where you're from. Next question.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
No, we've spoken before, Catherine. We have I'll say 98% coverage of OneMusic licenses, but there's always a couple of people that we need to work with.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, understood.
Thanks. 98% is pretty good.
Very good. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Any other questions? Because there's a few different industries online today, so. No more questions.
No, oh my gosh. Do you know what? People can digest. I'm happy to, we'll send this presentation to,
yes,
you know what, because it's copyright. It's kind of, I've got to say, like, in terms of copyright in the creative industries, music is the most complicated because music can be used in so many more ways than anything else. So say a picture or the written word, for instance, like a book, can only be photocopied or digitized, right? But music can be consumed and morphed in, so it's complicated, the Copyright Act even, so it's quite complex. So I get it. Maybe people need to digest, and if they want to ask questions afterwards, that's totally cool. So I'm very happy for people to come to us after, or send them to you, Helen, and you can send them to us, whatever works for people.
Yep. Well, when I send the recording, I'll definitely send contact details. Is there any other questions? There's a question here. Hang on. What do we got here? Oh, sorry. From Kelly. The fee structure for yoga and Pilates businesses is extremely high for what is a small business when compared to other fee rates for other small businesses. For example, a small cafe that has seating for 14 patrons that might have 100 people visit a day would pay a monthly fee of less than $80 for their music license. A small Pilates studio that pays background music throughout its entire premises has 14 reformers and operates 7 classes per day, seeing 98 people per day, and they pay a monthly fee of over $1,300. This is a crippling rate for small Pilates studio to pay. Can you explain why there's such a difference in the rate charged to small business, similar amount of people?
Yes.
Each day. Very good question,
Yes.
Kelly.
So that's right. So as I said, the agreements are different based on industry and the way it's used. So the use of music as background and what's classified as incidental, that your business can operate. You don't need music in any way, shape or form. So it's been deemed in, I guess, restaurant and retail as being more incidental and background, whereas Pilates and yoga has fits into the fitness industry. It just has, and I'll tell you why. It's because the rates of that license went through the Copyright Tribunal. So the Copyright Tribunal is a government department or government area that if the industry is at an impasse with, and it wasn't us, it was actually with PPCA in the day. So PPCA and the fitness industry weren't in alignment with the rates. And when that happens, one or the other can go to the Copyright Tribunal, which is an intermediary government overseeing body who will set the rate, right? So that's what happened. And I don't know, it was about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I can't sure, and they set that rate. So, and so that's why it's different to others, but also it's deemed as not incidental. It's deemed in the fitness industry as more featured, that it has more value. And the Copyright Tribunal also deemed it that way and agreed, and it was set at a rate, and I think it's been CPI'd ever since. So it's CPI'd increased since then. So that's why there is in there is fit in the fitness. There's fitness background, so that's cheaper than classes, but I mean, when music is put to a class that's scheduled as a class, it's background when it's not a scheduled class. So there's some variance in there. We've also recently changed it that if Pilates now can fit into a capped if they are deemed as a functional fitness centre, and there's various criteria for that. So the criteria is if you have one room, you have one music source, so you only have, to say, a CD player, for instance. So you're only using a CD player whenever you play music in that one room. It's capped at 100 classes. So that was to help out the Pilates owners, for instance, in that instance. So we've tried to cap the rate and cap the fee. So I don't know if your person who's asked the question has 100 classes a year or more, but that might work for her.
Yeah.
And she has one room, one music source.
Yeah, good question, Kelly. And yes, I was part of that 15 years ago tribunal as well.
Oh, were
in the
you?
fitness industry.
Right.
In the fitness industry, yes.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yes. And it's a tough one, especially for the small business
and I
owners.
agree. And that's why we've tried to focus on Pilates type businesses and cap it. So hopefully that has helped. That helps. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good question. Any other questions? That was a good one. For more than 100. Yeah.
Oh, so good, Kelly. Can contact us and you'll be adjusted. Your account will be adjusted.
Okay, no worries. All right. Well, thank you
right.
so much, Catherine and OneMusic. It was very, very informational, and look forward to watching the recording again. And please pass it on to others that you think might benefit as well. So our lunch and learns. Well, they're almost weekly these days, fortnightly and weekly. But the next one coming up is Origin Energy. So Wednesday, 23rd of July, please pop that in your diaries. They're going to talk about all kinds of useful energy for business. So seeing how to use energy wisely and also save on rates depending on what industry you're from as well. So look forward to hearing from our Origin Energy partners next week. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time and thanks for taking your lunch time out.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Great job.